Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We all love a good Disney ride, but sometimes the magic is interrupted when the rides malfunction and break down. It's bound to happen from time to time. Through submissions from viewers like you, these never-before-seen breakdowns give some rare perspectives into many of our favorite Disney rides.
Mijn god!
Oh no.
If you've caught a fail or malfunction on camera, you can submit it to www.tpmvids.com for a chance to have it featured in a future video. Now be sure to keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside as we count down the top 10 Disney ride breakdowns, malfunctions, and in-show exits. Part 13. Number 10. This first one takes us on to Phantom Manor at Disneyland Paris. Here, a viewer named Neith was stopped in the ballroom scene, and once the show audio cut out, she could not contain her excitement.
Nee, hou op, nee, hou op.
Oh?
Nee, hou op.
Attention on photo. And lights will be switched on.
And then the inevitable happened.
Gaan de werklichten? Oh, mijn god! Wat een wonder! Dit is echt Ninten? TPM Fit? Ja! Oh mijn god!
Even though I have no idea what they're saying, Dutch just makes this sound even more exciting, doesn't it?
Ladies and
We are
gentlemen,
Dutch?
your attention please. For technical reasons, our adventure has been temporarily interrupted. We hope to be back in operation very soon.
Seeing the ballroom scene with the lights on is always such a treat. You actually get a really good look at the mechanism that powers the waltzing ghosts, taking them from this to this. I mean, lighting does do all the work at bringing the magic to life in all these dark rides. Another great example of this is in a submission from a viewer named Cliff. He was stuck here in Phantom Canyon when
Vanuit een shotmental en audio will be switched off and lights will be switched off.
Oh my god.
I'm so happy. I'm going to send this TPM Vids.
And thanks so much for sharing it. Now, usually in this situation, when cast members themselves make an announcement and it's not pre-recorded, it usually means an in-show exit will be taking place. An in-show exit is another term Disney uses to make evacuations sound a little more magical. There are a couple of in-show exit designs over in the TPM Vids merch store. Now, from this point in Phantom Canyon, the in-show exit process is pretty straightforward since you're almost at the end of the ride. I would have loved to break down here when I visited the park. You get to really see just how much detail goes into all the sets and animatronics, and again, how lighting really ties everything together. It's true Disney magic. Number 9. Before you start playing Midway Mania, you get this practice round. And no, the main malfunction here is not the jittery screen, but it does have to do with screens. Everyone's favorite. So a viewer named Will got to the practice game at Disney California Adventure and was met with this. Well, it looks like Python crashed, probably because they're using Windows 2000. If you're not familiar, Python is a programming code, and apparently that's what runs Midway Mania. Now, this happened back in 2023, but there were many of you who sent in this malfunction. I mean, I joke and say they're running Windows 2000, but since Midway Mania opened in 2008, they're probably running on Windows Vista with a classic theme. So a little more high-tech, but still ages behind today. I wonder if anyone backstage actually closed the program, though.
Hacked into the system. What the heck?
Huh, maybe all these crashes have something to do with the low disk space. I mean, that's never good. Number 8.
We were doing so well. Hopefully it starts soon.
One comment I see come up a lot asks how guests who need wheelchairs, scooters, and ECV vehicles go through an in-show exit. Well, a viewer named Ariane, who is an ECV user, wanted to share her experience here on Indiana Jones at Disneyland. Now, whenever an in-show exit takes place, a cast member always comes onto the scene to ask if anyone needs additional assistance.
If we do have to get you guys off this vehicle, is everybody comfortable taking a big step off the vehicle and walking back?
No.
Alright, cool. Yeah, no worries. I remember. Cool. We'll just have you guys over here, okay?
So in the event extra assistance is needed, this becomes a job for the fire department. And it's not the one on Main Street. Disneyland actually has their very own real fire department backstage. Today it's located just behind Pixar Pier, so it's not exactly close to the Indiana Jones show building. It took firefighters about 30 minutes to physically get onto the scene and into the ride.
What can we do to help you?
The firefighters were very accommodating and helpful, assisting Ariane out of the ride vehicle to make sure she was safe.
Take your time. Sit down one. There you go.
Now, ECV vehicles aren't permitted on the ride path, so firefighters brought along an emergency manual chair.
Okay, you're on the ground. We got the wheelchair right behind you. Ready.
Just keep coming backwards.
There you go. Perfect. Good job.
I can't believe I finally get my in-show exit and not even missing it.
From here on out, one of the firefighters pushes the wheelchair through the in-show exit. As they were led through the ride path, the first thing they saw were the bugs used in this tunnel. I always thought the whole scene was projection-based, but it turns out they are actual physical 3D bugs. Who would have known? Now, once they were past the suspension bridge, this next part would involve them.
Gonna be going down this way.
I'm gonna put this through here.
Firefighters then placed straps across the chair to continue down the ride path. By this point, all the other guests had already been evacuated, but they were brought all the way down past the boulder. They then made their way through a backstage door and were given a lightning lane for all the trouble. Number 7. We don't see many breakdowns on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but one of the places you could get stuck at any point is inside the mine. This happened to a viewer named Luke right at rope drop. After being stuck here for about 20 minutes, the music finally turned off and they were met with this. The dwarves on the left literally sound like aggressive wild animals, don't they? I did notice that Bashful and Happy weren't doing their show animation since they're the only two dwarfs that sing along to Hi-Ho. The ones on the left just keep doing this the entire time. I mean, to be fair, you can barely hear any of these sounds over top of the music. And just like that, after 20 minutes, they were able to continue their journey through the mine. Number 6. Imagine this. You're on the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. You just passed the African Veld when all of a sudden, your boat almost sinks. No, just kidding. No boats are sinking this time.
It's the trainees. This shouldn't go bad at all.
So when you break down, another boat comes to the rescue.
This is the fun part. How many skippers does it take to rescue a boat, right? Usually it's 2. Now it's 7.
The skipper is awesome. Looks like they were taking this opportunity to train other cast members on how the rescue procedure works here at the Jungle Cruise.
Wow. We got the whole school bus, huh?
I love that all these sarcastic comments are right in line with the tone of the ride.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you do it before this? Not as bad. Yeah, that's better than I could ask for.
Now, how exactly does one boat rescue the other? Well, depending on which way the rescue boat came from, a rope is attached to either the front or the back of the broken boat. Here in this case, it's the front, and they just tow your boat the rest of the way back to the dock.
Probably both of our last days too, to be honest.
Then, of course, in true Jungle Cruise fashion, the skipper just continued on with his usual spiel.
It's so fun to go through this slow, huh?
Well, he did throw some dry humor in there as well.
Wait, Colin, you have a twin brother? Yeah, he's in the Mekong.
And it turned out the boat wasn't the only thing to break down. Honestly, a big shout out to these skippers. They are truly the main attraction and they make the Jungle Cruise.
And just like that, folks, you have very, very barely survived the world-famous Jungle Cruise.
Number 5. This next one takes us on to Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin at Disneyland and was sent in by a viewer named Jesse.
This is gonna hurt you, bro. It's gonna hurt me.
Oh!
Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin, attraction to be powered down, please stand clear. Animation to be turned off, audio to be muted, key lights to be turned off.
In-show exit.
Yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Oh my gosh. Yes!
Can we talk about how aggressive it stopped though? This is the only ride that simultaneously stops the ride, turns the work lights on, and shuts the music off. I'm assuming it's some sort of safety feature built into the ride, but it's a real shock to the senses.
This is going to TPM bids.
For those of you who are inside the attraction, please stay in your seats at all times. The cast member will be with you shortly. Thank you.
This is going to TPM bids. I'll tell you right now.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. This is another cool one, getting to see all the small details up close.
An anti-weasel bag. Oh, all kinds of money. Look at the money. It's got Roger on it.
I want a selfie with Jessica.
Well, get a selfie with Jessica. I'm not
Up close.
Well, depending on which way they take you out for the in-show exit, you might just be able to get one.
For those of you inside the attraction, please remain seated at all times. The cast member will be with you shortly. Thank you.
Now, it wasn't long before cast members showed up on the scene, and from here, it's a pretty straightforward walk back to the unload station.
Hello!
What's interesting about the in-show exit is the ride track. If you look through the crack, you can see the pit below the ride floor. And this down there is the actual guide rail for the ride vehicles. This stuff is so cool to see, don't you think? Number 4.
Hi, TPM Vids.
This is Barrett. He and his family were riding the Matterhorn for the very first time, when all of a sudden, the bobsleds just came to a halt.
We are stopped.
And then about 5 to 6 minutes later, they turned on the work lights.
Which definitely means one thing.
Intro exit!
You know it. Now, this is the very first time the Matterhorn has been featured on one of these lists. And the evacuation process is pretty interesting. Now, this is one of the few rides where in order to get guests out of the ride vehicles, maintenance cast members are called onto the scene.
Hey, Jeff, you have an extra strap?
They're responsible for strapping the bobsled in place before anyone can get out of the vehicle. Once it's all secure, attraction cast members can then begin the in-show exit process.
Try to sit right here and scoot down. There you go.
From here, they were taken inside the iconic mountain where filming is not allowed and were led right back into Fantasyland.
Bye.
Number 3. Getting to see Spaceship Earth with the work lights on is kind of rare, like here in this clip from Akira Sunny 16. There is just so much detail to take in, but one of the best spots to get a lights on look is right at the top in the planetarium. This video was sent in by a viewer named Andrew, and this view is something you don't get to see every day. Disney themselves shared this photo, which does give you a better idea of what it looks like.
Ladies and gentlemen, our time travelers have been momentarily delayed. Please remain seated. Your time machine vehicle will be moving in at any moment. Please remain seated. We'll resume our turn shortly. Thank you.
Now, right in the center, there appears to be a maintenance area. Somewhere around here, there is also a service elevator that goes all the way down to ground level of the theme park. Now, you might be scratching your head thinking, where could this elevator be? Well, it's actually in that central mirrored column just across from the ride's entrance. Yeah, these doors open right up into the elevator. Now, even though the work lights are on, it doesn't always mean an in-show exit will be taking place. Here, Andrew did get moving again, but he got to experience the descent with the lights on. You realize just how steep it is when you look at it this way. Gotta make sure you're buckled in. Pretty much it's just filled with drop cloths, speakers, and lots of dust. Now this version of the descent has been around since 2007, and on either side of the ride vehicle you'll notice these black curtains. Well, from 1994 until 2007, this is what the old descent used to look like, as it showcased modern communication at the time.
When will they be here?
Well, let me take a look. I think you only have to wait another 3 more months.
Great, Eddie. It's more than we ever hoped for.
There were many detailed physical sets and figures, and when Disney updated the ride, everything was kept in place and they just covered it. So hidden behind these black curtains are all these amazing show scenes. If you ever get a lights-on look at the descent, definitely keep your eyes peeled for possible glimpses of the old scenes. Number 2. Another attraction that's never been on these breakdown lists before is Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Well, a viewer named Pedro caught Marty Wazowski at a loss for words.
Oh my god.
Forget stand-up comedy, this was the disappearing act. And the crowd goes wild! Well, okay, this is awkward.
Okay, let's give the little guy a big hand. Wasn't he great?
So all the monsters aside from Roz and Mike are performed by live actors backstage. But something was clearly wrong with the entire show system here.
Not you, Wazowski. That guy. Give him a big hand.
Talk about a delayed reaction. And, oh, okay, yeah, he's still clapping. Okay. Wow. Wow, the show's really glitching. Well, it wasn't too long. Actually, I take that back. The silence was long enough to make it an awkward silence before Roz gave everyone the boot.
All right, people, nothing to see here. Move it along.
Well, you heard her.
Attention humans, we do apologize. As you can see, we are experiencing technical difficulties at this time, so we're going to have you folks exit the theater on the left-hand side.
A glitching Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is actually very amusing. I kind of wish this was offered more often. Number 1. This last one brings us on to Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom. Now, a viewer named Steven got to the first Carnotaurus, then felt the shocks of the vehicle disengage. It then reset itself, but before you could say Dinosaur, the work lights came on.
Please remain seated. Our technical staff is working on the problem, and your time rover may begin moving at any moment.
We'll see. Oh, maybe not.
Well, it turns out the problem that caused the ride to break down was actually this vehicle specifically.
Any word on that asteroid?
Apparently no. Well, maintenance cast members began solving the issue, and it seemed like they actually got it fixed. They ended up moving past the Carnotaurus, but it wasn't long before their vehicle stopped again, and... apparently they didn't get the issue fixed. The beeping probably isn't a good thing.
Attention time travelers. Due to technical difficulties, we are forced to suspend your journey at this time. Please remain seated. Dino Institute personnel are on their way to assist you.
Well, it wasn't long before attraction cast members arrived on the scene to look for that ladder. It has to be somewhere around here. Oh, yep, there it is. With the beeping still going on, this whole situation became very chaotic.
Attention time travelers. Due to technical difficulties, we must suspend all time travel tours at this time. Please remain seated in your vehicle.
Then it was time for the fun part, the in-show exit. Here, Steven and the rest of the guests were taken towards the beginning of the ride, and along the way, they got some great up-close looks at the animatronics. I just wish you could see more of their detail on the actual ride, because it gets kinda dark in here. Staying in a single-file line, all the guests were brought back into the load station where they were given a lightning lane for the trouble. So have you ever broken down on a ride at the Disney theme parks? What was that experience like? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.